Hey guys, welcome to this YouTube video. My name is Rindella Daisy and I'm an artist and animator. Today I'm going to show you my process for drawing a mind flare from D&D. This was so fun for me. I love doing watercolor and I'm not very comfortable with drawing things that, are like monsters, I guess. I'm very familiar with like humanoid things, and this was still a humanoid thing, but it took me a little bit out of my comfort zone and I really liked that. I think that mind flares are something that their lore is like really interesting to me in D&D. I haven't done a ton of research about it. I'm not like a nerd or anything, but I have done some research for it because I did a commission a while ago that had some mind flares in it. So I'm like, who are these guys? Where did they live? What do they eat? But I had a lot of fun like playing with this concept of the mind flare and thinking about what I could do to explore it. And I think one of the things that I'm thinking about now, even just after I painted it, mind flare, they have a very superior personality. I feel like they think they're above everyone else, and I feel like that's something I kind of tried to capture, but almost I didn't realize I was trying to capture that until after I painted it. So yeah, I feel that was one of the things I realized I was trying to capture with this character. Right now I'm just doing thumbnails for the mind flare, and that's something that through every project you learn something. So originally for this video I was thinking, I'll draw, I don't know, maybe a Demogorgon or something. So I tried that, but I didn't do any thumbnails. I didn't test anything out. I didn't figure out what I was doing first, and I realized while I was drawing it that there was so much planning that I had neglected and I hadn't thought through first. So this was a really good learning experience for me. It helped me kind of reestablish the importance of thumbnails. And if you don't do thumbnails whenever you paint, I really strongly suggest it. But this was so important for me to be able to make a nice painting fast, because once I got the thumbnails down, I was able to paint the picture very quickly with the reference I had from the ideas I had explored before. And I explored different lighting scenarios, different poses, and I think what I did in the end is I kind of like put them all into like this weird like combination of them together, and I really like the way that it turned out. It was really, really interesting. I think also something that I enjoyed about this is, with watercolor, I really enjoy the process of just like painting it. Like I love the way that the paint feels. It's just like, it gives me a happy feeling whenever I get out my watercolors and I start doing it. And I think it was kind of interesting because whenever I had been doing watercolor painting in the past, I hadn't really meshed it with doing anything for D&D up until now. And I think that's interesting for me because D&D is something that I do a lot. I play D&D a lot. I consume a lot of like D&D art and some podcasts and stuff. But I've never drawn anything from D&D like canon. Like I've drawn D&D characters before that, I've made up or, that kind of thing, but never actually like drawn a D&D monster before. And I just think that's interesting that, that's something that I've never thought, I should draw a D&D monster. I guess that just like wasn't the kind of thing that I did up until now. And I feel like it was really good for me because drawing this kind of brought me out of my comfort zone a little bit. It let me think about, I think whenever you draw something that's less humanoid, you're able to more easily think about the shapes that you're putting into the painting and the lighting and everything, because whenever the subject you're drawing is more alien to you, you have less to go on. So you're not just going with what you imagine a human should generally look like. You have to think of a mind flare like, okay, they have tentacles on their face. How does that affect the lighting? How does, the lighting affect that? And so that was a really interesting thing that I discovered through this. Yeah, so drawing this mind flare, I feel like I didn't know it was gonna be this helpful for me, but it honestly was. It really was. It was like one of the better things I've done for painting because it allowed me to use the skills that I had been practicing recently, like lighting and texture, but it let me do it on a subject that I was unfamiliar with, and that was really good for me. I think that whenever I was doing this painting, I was really trying to focus on the texture, especially of like the breastplate on top. I was trying to get it to look kind kind of reflective, and you know, some other things like the symbol on his belt, and I really like the way the tentacles turn out on the face. But those kind of little details were the kind of things that I was focusing on now, as well as just the lighting scenario, and I felt like those were really fun things for me to work on. I think that it's cool whenever you get to a place, whenever you're painting, when you can focus more on actually like the subject you're painting and the details of it, rather than just having to focus on like, how do I paint it in the first place, you know? You get to a point where you're comfortable with painting things, so you can move on to being uncomfortable painting other things. And so yeah, I think one thing that's interesting is that whenever you're drawing something like this, I think it helps whenever you've drawn it several times, because it just allows you to explore what it's like. For instance, whenever I was doing that commission before, I wasn't drawing them in detail. I was basically just getting a feel for them because they were in the background and out of the way. They weren't supposed to be the focus of the drawing or the painting. And so I feel like I kind of got like a good basis for them. And then whenever I went to actually paint one here, I felt like I kind of already knew what it was like. It's kind of like whenever you like hear an artist's song and then you go look them up and you're like, oh, okay, I have the reference of their song, so I know what their song sounds like. That's a really weird example, but that's where it reminds me of. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. I think it's nice to just take time sometimes to just paint D&D monsters, whatever you want to paint. I was kind of stressing about this at first though, because I didn't know what I wanted to paint. If I first started, I knew I wanted to paint a D&D monster because it would get me out of my comfort zone and allow me to explore a little bit, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I was stressing out about it a little bit. Then I was flipping through the monster manual and I decided on a mind flare because I already knew about them a little bit, and it kind of just all worked out. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot through this, and I can say I'm going to be drawing more D&D monsters in the future. I think one thing that a lot of artists struggle with is falling into the rut of drawing the same thing over and over again. I'm not trying something new, and so I feel like that's really what I wanted to try to break out of with this. It's kind of scary to do something that you know will be hard for you, but you know that you'll grow in. I feel like I definitely accomplished what I wanted to with this. It was a lot of fun to do. I had so much fun. I think what I might want to do next is a Demogorgon, just because I want to try to finish that painting that I did. My goal for this month is finishing projects, so I feel like I should kind of do that sometime. But yeah, this was a good painting. It was really fun. It was nice just taking time to paint and do this character and get outside my comfort zone. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Be sure to give it a like and to subscribe if you want to see more. Comment your thoughts down below. Tell me if you've drawn D&D monsters before, what your thoughts are. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. Oh, also check out my website. I can do commissions. I can draw you mind flare.